If I told you that 10 years ago you could have sipped vapor out of a cup, you would have thrown your money at me. You would have called me at all hours of the night. You would have showed at my house, banging on the door, terrifying my family. Hi, Nick from T-Vape here. Today we are reviewing the Zenco Duo. The Zenco Duo is a vapor cup, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a cup of vapor that you drink or breathe. Sip, chug, shoot. Look, I'll tell you what you do with this thing later. Let's start where it makes sense to start, explaining how the Zenco Duo works. First, you'll be able to choose between a ceramic atomizer or a triple quartz atomizer. The triple quartz atomizer is going to give you thicker, denser clouds, and the ceramic atomizer is going to provide a better flavor profile. So you basically just have to decide what kind of person you are. Do you want to enjoy the sweet, delicious taste? Or do you want to sit back in the spoils of your labor as that dense vapor cloud fills your living room and say, I did that. I left my mark. Once you've made your choice, screw the atomizer onto the threads and then add a small amount of concentrate, about the size of 2 grains of rice, onto it. If you prefer to use cartridges, then screw one of those into the bottom of the device, cover it with the circular rubber plate, and make sure that the outer part slopes downwards. Put the cup on top, and then you quickly tap the button with the ring around it 5 times. Now, this button, unlike regular buttons, doesn't have any physical feedback. Regular buttons click or push in. With this one, you just tap it to turn it on and tap it to change the settings, so the feedback you get is more subtle. Like that look that your girlfriend gives you when you wear the same shirt 3 days in a row. She's not saying anything, the click sound, but at the same time, she is also saying everything. Okay, so now it's time for the best part. What's in the box? First of all, you have the Zenco Duo device, right here. Then it comes with not 1, but 2 vapor cups. Wax tool for wax tooling. Bristle cleaner, which gets right in there to clean the device out. USB charging cable, in case you don't have 400,000 of these at home already. 1 triple quartz atomizer. 1 ceramic bucket. 5 cleaning sticks. The 4 temperature settings on the Zenco Duo span a wide enough range so you will get the most out of your concentrates. Yellow, that's the low setting for minimal vapor and discrete hits. Blue is the medium setting for slow pace with an emphasis on flavor. Green, medium high, for a balance between taste and efficiency. Red, high, bigger clouds, less flavor profile. What blew my mind was that the hits at the higher temperatures were still very silky, which with someone with a more sensitive capacity, I found very satisfying. The temperature flexibility of this device is good, and it makes use of its wide range by giving you the right tools out of the box. Unlike every video game released since 2015, you won't have to keep purchasing add-ons to make this thing work. It's gonna work exactly the way it's supposed to as soon as you take it out of the box. Changing between settings is a little less intuitive than I would have hoped, but you can switch between voltage by tapping the button quickly 3 times. Just don't say Beetlejuice while you do it, because then that guy's gonna show up, he'll take all your vape, he'll wreck your house, and he'll try to marry your teenage daughter. He's a real jerk. Holding the button engages manual mode. Double pressing the button will engage automatic mode, filling your cup with vapor. Once your cup's filled with vapor, fire it back. What's really cool about this product is it's like vaping and drinking something joined forces for this whole new, really cool, fun experience. It's gonna make you think, what else can I drink? Maybe that stuff under the sink. No, why would you think that that's what you should drink? Why would you go right to that? I'm disappointed. Vapor cups, as you can see, are visually appealing and very convenient to sip on. The flavor profile that they give is way better than low-budget wax pens without a bubbler, but not quite as good as an E-rig, which is geared towards giving you better flavor and density in vapor. One of my initial concerns with the Vapor Cup was the form. See, I looked at it and it's got this hole on the top and I thought, wait a second, how is the vapor not just gonna fly right out of this cup? Well, you learned something. See, what happens is vapor is heavier than air. So it actually stays at the bottom and the air is on the top and it just doesn't fly out.
Yes, science!
When you're taking a sip, it actually does feel like that, like you are drinking something. It doesn't feel at all like you're hitting a wax pen. It also makes it way easier to get your dosing right because you can see the amount of vapor actually accumulating at the bottom of the cup, so you can perfectly dose it. So it's great for people who tend to dose too little or too much. And if you're one of those people who gets the perfect dose every single time, congratulations. Stop flexing, it's not a competition. If you're looking for a way to share concentrated hits with friends, or you just want to sip on your own concentrates at the end of a long, stressful day, the Zenco Duo is a great option. The Duo comes in two styles. There's a faux wood exterior, and then there's the rubberized plastic one. I definitely like the rubberized plastic one better, but both look really great, they're pretty slick, and take up a relatively small amount of desk space. The heating elements are decent, although Tronian's version, the Omegatron, had a glass core model which is definitely more suitable for higher quality cartridges. One thing that's important to note about the Duo is that the inside where the atomizer gets screwed in can get gunked up pretty fast. So you're gonna wanna clean it every 3 or so sessions. Look, I know that might sound frequent, but it's important, all right? This isn't like changing your sheets or doing your taxes. This matters. With a 2200 mAh battery, the Zenco Duo will last about 10 sessions. Mind you, you're only gonna get about 3 to 4 glasses of vapor out of each globule of concentrate. By the way, just as a quick aside, I am now going to be using globule as my sole unit of measurement. Could you please pass me a globule of mashed potatoes, I might say, or I currently weigh 185 globules. You just drive a few globules up the road, and once you see the Denny's, take a left. If you see a gas station, you've gone a globule. The USB-C port is also a very handy addition, and although it's standard in most concentrate devices, it hasn't been adopted by all vaporizers just yet. I mean, look, even Apple is starting to come around to USB-C, which I assume as soon as that happened, that Steve Jobs' corpse reanimated for a brief second to scream in abject horror. There are some minor quirks, though, with this one. The USB-C port is on the front instead of the back, which isn't as convenient as it could be, and it also doesn't support pass-through charging, which would work really, really well with its desktop form factor. Overall, the battery life for this device is in the lower ranges, but it's still gonna provide the good times that you're looking for. The good times you're looking for as far as the Zenco Duo is concerned. Other parts of your life may still remain unfulfilled. While it's not the most refined charging system in the world, that should not dissuade you from considering this device. So it's a standard part of our process to explain the discreteness of a device, but let's face it, this thing is not discreet. It is very much a cup that you drink vapor from. Vapor cups are generally intended to be used inside. However, yes, you can take them outside. If you do, however, expect a crowd to gather. People at parties and in groups love vapor cups. Honestly, we were promised flying cars at this point in time in our lives, and what we got was drinking vapor out of a cup. Let's consider that a victory and move on. The ease of use of this device is decent. The one-button setup will be extremely familiar with any 510 battery users. And I was able to get this thing going within 10 minutes of taking it outside of the box, and I didn't need a manual to do it. You might be thinking, well, Nick, you're a super genius. But I'm not. I am actually of below average intelligence. I have seen The Sixth Sense 5 times, and I still think that Bruce Willis is alive. While there was a bit of confusion with the button not pushing in, I was able to figure that out pretty quickly. Again, not a super genius, below average intelligence, Bruce Willis is still alive. And if you've gotten this far in the video, you'll figure it out too. The experience overall gets easier after the first session. A weaker man would make a "that's what she said" joke here, but
That's what she said!
I'm not that lowbrow. I would have liked to see a more intuitive system. For example, the Omegatron features a push to activate system where you just push on the cup, watch it fill up with vapor, and there you go. When it comes to cleaning, all of the parts can be easily separated, so it makes it easier to reach inside the dome and the rubber insert. Should you get the Zenco Duo? I can safely say it's worth checking out. Any enthusiast will enjoy the novel experience that they're gonna get with it. I mean, look, if I told you 10 years ago that you could sip vapor out of a cup, you would have thrown your money at me to get one. You would have called me at all hours of the night, shown up at my house, randomly banging on the door, scaring my family just to get a vapor cup. Remember how popular it was to inhale vapor out of a bag, that people were willing to dish out $1,000 to get a volcano? To sum it up, the Zenco Duo is simple but effective. And although it might not be the cheapest vapor cup option out there, it has a wide range of heating elements, voltages, and has a nice aesthetically pleasing, simple design and form factor that you will enjoy. And that does it for our tutorial and review on the Zenco Duo. Did we leave anything out? Let us know in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, following our content. I'm Nick for T-Vape, and to all my connoisseurs out there, keep vaping.